Hello everyone, my name is Holden Hardman. Thank you so much for joining me again for another video. A couple months back, probably by the time this comes out, I did a video about me making some Lord of the Rings mini statues that I 3D printed. I was kind of going into how I was beginning learning how to do 3D printing and the joy that I've found in doing that. Since then, I've made a few upgrades to my printer. I've printed out quite a few more things. I've been trying to do a little bit better painting, finding a little bit better paints, a little better techniques. And what I have come to learn about 3D printing is that it is a very give and take kind of relationship. I love it when it works. I don't know about everyone else that does 3D printing, but what I've run into is that you'll have some models that I just can't get to work to save my life. No matter how I put them through the slicing software, cannot get them to work. Other models, they work every single time. There's some things on the printer itself that I try to upgrade. The very first thing I upgraded was like the spring and the wheel for the leveling bed to try to just make it more stable, just a little bit more reinforced. The next thing I did is I got a glass bed, and I ended up kind of liking and hating that because while I felt it would adhere a little bit better, it was a nightmare getting them off. A new problem I've run into now is that the bed is actually kind of wobbly. So I was running into this problem where I could not get anything to print. I would level it manually with you put a little piece of paper, a little janky thing, you put a piece of paper between and you move to the different points and try to get it level that way. Then you auto level it, but it still wasn't working. And I've seen that that's kind of been a reoccurring theme for a lot of people, just the difficulty in leveling the beds. There's something about just being able to create whatever I want that is just so enticing, and I love it. And that's probably why we're all doing 3D printing if you're doing it too. However, something really cool has happened. I don't know if it's because of that previous video, I don't know if they saw it, or if it's just a matter of happenstance, but somebody from Creality reached out to me and offered to send me a brand new 3D printer. And of course I obliged. They sent me the Ender 5 S1, which I think is like an upgraded, an even better version than this one. This is the S1 Pro, and I do love it, and I've actually ordered another upgrade piece for my Y-axis here. That should be coming in tomorrow, but for now I'm gonna try and just kind of tighten it up a little bit just to eliminate that wobble. But the new 3D printer came in, and so I'm gonna finish up fixing this, and then I wanna set that one up. Now I did wanna let you know, just full transparency, that I will be reviewing the product. I have told them that I will be very honest in my review of it. So if you do want to purchase your own after this, or if you've been kind of on the fence, even the 3S1 Pro, even if it's not the one that they sent me, if you do use the links that I will provide, I do get a commission from that. Don't feel obligated to do that. If you want to go through Amazon or whatever so that I'm not getting anything out of it, that's totally fine too. This is just something I've really come to love. It's my new hobby. Before it was videos, now it's 3D printing. Maybe one day I'll be making a living 3D printing, I don't know. But in the spirit of transparency, I wanted to let you know what was going on. Anyway, for now, let me go ahead and get this together, get that unboxed, and I'll put it together. So here's the problem I'm running into. This is my Y-axis. This moves the bed back and forth. And these wheels, I don't know what the official technical term for them is, but they should be touching the base. And these ones are not. I'm trying to tighten them up. This one seems a little bit tighter on them, but it could just be from just general wear and tear. See, even though it's just such a slight wobble, it's enough to ruin a print. Well, that's not good. This actually might work out overall because I actually ordered a replacement for this part. I was just hoping to get it temporarily fixed until then, but I'll at least be able to repair it tomorrow when those parts arrive. The replacement parts I'm getting are actually a track that's just going to glide up and down. It's going to remove these ball bearing things anyways, partially because, as you can see, they're less reliable and the track should be a more permanent solution. Well, let me go ahead and clean this up then, and then I'll start breaking out the brand new Ender 5 S1. We park the car in the garage normally. My wife jokes with me that every time she comes out here, there's always something new printing. So she wanted to do like a time lapse on her phone of just the different things that I'm printing over time. All right, but let's go ahead and get this done. When I was setting up the 3, I had my buddy Prime come over, and he helped me because he had a printer pretty similar to that one, and his help was invaluable. Now that I have a little more experience with it, I'm hoping I'll be able to set this one up with minimal issue. Even with this one, I still was kind of YouTubing some tutorials. I might have to do that with this one too. This is all pretty new tech to me, but let's get started. For the 3rd time, let's get going. You come take a look, see what we got inside the box. Our 3D printer quick start guide. Be very careful with all this stuff. I'm not sure what all these are. I do not want to lose them though. Comes with some Creality filament. The other one did too, I just never used it. This one looks like there's probably a good bit more. I like that they include that so you can just get started right away. All right, we got the cream of the crop here. I'm gonna have to set this down and move it up to the table. Oh, my back. Oh, my arm. Oh, my foot. Look at this one. Oh, this one looks really cool. There's the bed for it. Looks really nice. Oh, it feels differently than that one too. I'll put this right here, right where it'll get mixed up with the other equipment. I've got all the pieces out, and now comes the funnest part of trying to figure out how it all fits together. I'm very much a visual person, so I'm just gonna go to YouTube and have them walk me through it. Luckily, this is Creality's official YouTube store, so I'd much rather watch how it's put together using my pieces than try and read some two-dimensional diagram. Excellent. Make sure it's all working here. It's too tight. Shoot. Okay. I think that will do. Let's try it again. Oh, I hate that. I hate when something goes wrong like that right off the bat. Round two. Yeah, there. It's good. Looks like it's still got a little bit more slack as well. I will say it looks like it's giving a much more precise bed mesh. Hopefully it'll make a difference in the overall print. So a little time has actually elapsed on my end from the beginning of this video to now. From when I started this video, I did not have a baby boy, and now I currently do. Before I agreed to the sponsorship, I let them know that my wife is going to be giving birth in just a few days, so that might prolong the release of the video, and they've been really, really receptive, really, really cool about me postponing this. So Creality, thank you guys for being such cool people and understanding. Baby's here with me now. I have a little baby cam on him so you all can enjoy his cute little face. As of filming this, he is 10 days old. I'm not bringing him here in the garage because of the Florida heat, but I have him right inside so I can keep an eye on him, and we'll continue on with the video. Now, after I put this together, I've been kind of absent from it, but I have initiated a few prints and just kind of let them go off. So in a way it worked because it gave me several days worth of time to do different prints, to try different filaments, and Creality actually sent me their own filament the day after I shot the first half of this. So it all kind of worked out because they didn't have that. So I found a model online through Thingiverse, not sponsored by them, of a Batman bust, and I printed off 4 of them using different filaments. And I printed off the Fertility Idol from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Because I've always wanted it, I didn't want to buy it, I can make my own. So the first filament I used was another brand. I hadn't yet received the Creality filament in the mail, and it was this white one. Now initially there was a failure in the print. This is actually not the fault of the 3D printer, but rather a fault of the model. I ended up fixing it later in a really janky way by putting some tape over the support so that it would stay in place, and they've been fine since then. So this one is the non-Creality filament. It's not bad. There you can see under the chin where the support failed on it. There was a little bit of bubbling on the side. You can see the layer lines, especially in his cowl there, pretty easily. And then this guy here is the same white, but I just painted him with like a black gloss. The finer details here, you can still see some of the print lines. And then these next two were printed with the Creality filament that they sent me. And I think that they both turned out really well. So this one is just the filament. I haven't added anything else to it. I did do a little sanding under the chin where the support is. And I don't know if I'm gonna paint this one yet to try and cover up some of those blemishes or not, but I did paint this one. This is also the Creality filament that they sent me. And I painted it with sort of like a stone-like kind of paint. So one of the cool things that ended up happening is that I initiated the Fertility Idol from Indiana Jones with the Creality filament, and then it ran out. And then I used the other black filament that I had to try and finish it off, but then that one ran out. And then I used the remaining white that I had. So this will actually work because you can kind of tell the difference in the same model of the different quality, different types of filament. So bottom layer is Creality, middle layer is other brand, and then top is white other brand. And the reason I'm not so worried about the different types of filament in this one is because I'm going to obviously paint it gold. One thing I did notice during some of the time-lapse videos I did of printing off the Batman models was that this bed adheres extremely well. I feel like it's this weird middle ground between the bed that comes with the 3S1 Pro and like a glass bed. So I ended up upgrading this bed for my 3 to a glass bed, and I really liked it because I thought that they adhered better, especially during like the first layer of printing, but I could not for the life of me get them off. There's probably different tips and tricks on how to do that, but I found it to be extremely difficult, and at some point I was worried I was going to damage the actual printer trying to force them off. This one adheres pretty dang close to the glass one, but it still has this malleability for the objects to come off. The only thing I've run into a problem with is when I do like a skirt around, because it's such a thin layer that's solo, those can be really hard to get off. But when it's kind of one body, still a little difficult, but you can kind of take it all as one piece. See, because you can kind of bend it around it. Not too bad. And here are some of the supports. See, these are actually coming off pretty easily. This is from the last time. I still have not like really been able to get that off satisfactorily anyway. So here is the Indiana Jones Fertility Idol I printed off. Again, this is not my model. I found this for free on Thingiverse. I was having some trouble initially before I was doing the sponsorship of trying to get it to print even with supports. And somebody recommended I put it at a 45-degree angle for it to print, and it worked seemingly this time. Let me go ahead and get these supports off. Looks pretty good other than it just looking janky because of the color. There was a bit of a failure in the old butt region. This is likely on my end because I haven't quite mastered the leveling of this one yet. Let you see a little closer here so you can see the first layer. This lighter black is the Creality layer, and then this next portion is the other brand. And then the final is the white other brand. It looks kind of, I don't know, I kind of like it like this. It makes it kind of unique. I still think I'm probably gonna go with gold though. But that's not all that Creality sent me. At the same time I got the new filament, they also sent me the Creality Sonic Pad. I will have a link for this down below as well. I have never set this up before. I've never used anything like this. Again, I've told Creality that I'm gonna be pretty honest in my review of how difficult it is to set it up for kind of the layman kind of person. I read online that this is actually supposed to help not only speed up prints, but help the quality of them. So I made a mistake initially when I printed off the Batman. This is the Creality Filament Batman, and I printed it off at standard quality. So even if you're seeing this and you're like, this is actually pretty stinking good, this was not the highest quality that I could have printed it at. So this was printed at 0.2 millimeter, and this one was printed at 0.12. So it's a much finer print. I know that it's probably hard for your eyes not to see the difference. That's probably right where it goes, but it is a much cleaner print, much less filament lines. So the next thing for me is to set up this Creality Sonic Pad and see if it's really worth it. In my absence, I also received the new parts for my Ender 3S1 Pro, so I'm also going to try and fix that after I do this. Maybe I'll try and fix that as this one is initiating a new print. Yeah, buddy, here we go. I'll also kind of clear up my workspace here. It's the Sonic Pad touchscreen. Looks pretty nice, pretty big too, like a tablet. User manual, lots and lots of cables. Oh, I see, it's really just one. It's really just the power cable, just depends on where you live. The micro USB. All right, set to America. So I've been fiddling with this thing for a while now, and this is an extremely tedious process. You have to like look to find the specific chip that's inside the printer. I can't just look up the model, I have to look up the chip in the model. From like a list of things. It's telling me to insert this in a spot that's not on the printer. I'm trying to follow along as best I can, but it's telling me that even once I get it set up, I have no other choice but to use this. I won't even really be able to revert back unless I go through another series of steps, another series of processes. Congratulations, the printer is in perfect condition. So let's start your printing journey. I guess because I'm connected to the internet, there's a bunch of things I can just like search for. Of course, my SD card went missing. I went ahead and put the Doctor Who Tardis on this one. I have made this already on the 3S1 Pro. I made it for a fan actually that sent me some fan mail, and so they were a big fan of Doctor Who, so I printed it and painted it and sent it off to them. So I think that would be a pretty good test for this because it's just a big rectangle box, but it does have some supports for the windows. So this said it's gonna take about 26 hours in my slicer. It's about a 10% infill or so. So it'll be a good test to see if it actually is faster with the sonic pad. It's not registering in the printer itself. I'm wondering if I must use sonic pad. I'm guessing that's what the problem is. Yep, there it is. I'm not crazy about how it totally like shuts down the screen on the printer itself and how it nullifies the SD port on the printer itself too. So I'm gonna go ahead and initiate this Tardis. Gives me pictures of it and everything. Shows you the size. Total duration, 1 day, 2 hours, which is what the slicer also said. It's not even doing anything, come on. This is also another problem too. Like dealing with it straight up on the printer, it's instant, but because this is a wired connection, I hit stop print and it goes on for another 5-6 seconds. That's another reason I'd love to be able to print just directly from SD to this. That would be a downside to the sonic pad. I'm trying to adjust the Z offset and there's like a lag, there's like a delay. Come on, see, I don't like how slow this is. Like I need to stop the print because it's clogging up my nozzle. I hit stop and it's still going. Let's try again. Hopefully I've got the Z offset correct now. Oh, did it reset the whole thing? Okay, that's awesome. Let me just show you what this looks like. Honestly, this was one of the reasons I was so hesitant to use this thing. And because of the way that they do their firmware stuff, I can't just say, this isn't for me, and just disconnect it. Because I've connected it and updated it, this will not work. I'm gonna have to go through a whole bunch of other steps just to get that to work. Is this the sweet spot? Come on, baby. Delay, come on. This might be the eureka moment. We might have gotten it. I've done this print before. I know it can succeed. Ah, it's coming undone. God bless me. Here's that failed first layer. It's like the Superman symbol or something. Just now played with the speed settings for the first time. This looks like the best first layer I've gotten thus far. That bit of gunk that was on the nozzle has of course fallen off in the middle of the first layer. But other than that, I'm gonna see if I can cut it off. It's the way that I don't have to restart the whole print, especially when this is as good as I've seen. Take those little pieces off. So I've increased the speed 130%. This looks like a much better first layer. This might do it. I'll need to look up the best like speed results because I'm sure there's eventually gonna be a trade-off between quality of print and speed. So I don't know at what point it's too fast to where I'm losing quality. And then the last thing I'd like to do is get my 3S1 Pro up and running again. Got the upgrade parts, which will hopefully allow me to get rid of these, but I do have some spares in case any of the other ones need to be replaced at any point. I think I've got it. Hopefully this will fix the wobble problem and will now be fully functional. I'm going to actually initiate a print, clean up down here too because this is our kitchen table and I know Jen doesn't want me to hog it up with all this stuff for too long. Because Creality sent me the upgraded one, as much as I'd love to have 2 of these running prints at the same time, my buddy Prime has one, Matt has been telling me he's been wanting a 3D printer for the longest time, so I will probably go ahead and give him this one with the upgrades I've made included, so he can start printing some stuff on his own. But first, let me make sure it's actually working before I do that. Moment of truth. All right, let's try again. It's the next day and the Tardis is still printing on the 5S1. I came out early this morning and the print had actually paused because it became disconnected. I was having a couple of disconnection errors when I was first setting up the sonic pad, and I guess mid-print it just somehow disconnected and it stopped the whole print. I ended up exchanging the cables from the one that they had sent with the sonic pad for just one of my own USB to USB-C cables, and after a little bit of time it finally re-recognized the printer. But hopefully that doesn't happen again because that would be a big pain if the whole point of me having the sonic pad is for a more consistent, faster print, and if it just disconnects while I'm sleeping and it ends up taking longer in the long run. So hopefully that won't be the case. But we'll see if that happens again. I've also done a bit of painting with my Fertility Idol from Indiana Jones. It's coming along nicely. You can see here where I changed out the filament. That line wouldn't be there if I didn't have to do that. I don't see it happen again here because I changed it out at the eyes. This one seems to have blended a bit better than this one, but overall it's looking good. All right, been a few more days now. The 3S1 Pro has been working well. I did a test print. My test print was this Darth Vader. I did a couple of these on this printer in the past before, so I knew it would work. The first print failed about halfway through because it stopped adhering to the bed. And then the second one worked fine. I kind of re-leveled my Z offset. And then I did one more print, the Weeping Angel from Doctor Who, which I've successfully printed in the past before. It also failed about halfway through from adhesion. So I think that this plate might need to be replaced or at least cleaned off with some alcohol. I'm not gonna replace that before I give it to Matt. I'll probably let him do that one. Working well. I really like the upgrade that I did. It seems to have improved a lot. And then the only other thing is the Tardis has finished printing. Now, I've had a little bit more time to play with it, and kind of my overall summation is I really like the 5S1. I think it absolutely is an improvement. I think it's just naturally faster. It seems to adhere better. So I love it. I'm still up in the air about this sonic pad because initially the Tardis was going to take 26 hours. And even though it disconnected halfway through and I reconnected it and it finished printing, it finished the whole thing in less than 17 hours, which is a pretty significant difference. And I'll show it to you right now. See, it's sticking to the bed pretty good. Comes off just like that. There's the Doctor Who Tardis. And there it is, just needing some paint and it'll be ready to fly. There's a couple more supports on there I gotta take off too. But that is it, everyone. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. Creality, thank you so much for sending me all this fun stuff to play with. It has been an absolute blast. I love it. I'll be getting a ton of use out of this, and hopefully I'll be making some more videos of me making different prints in the future anyway. Remember, there are links in the description if you would like to check out the Ender 5 S1, the filament, and the sonic pad if you want to try that out for yourself. I am not a pro at that, so I've seen reviews and videos since then of people who really know how to utilize the sonic pad, so don't let me dissuade you too much. I'm just talking about some issues that I ran into and some things that I think that they probably could work on, probably could be a little bit better. Maybe they will with updates and stuff in the future. But for now, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.